Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I just wondered if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember the elite games of summer, and you were playing fullback up there. And I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you could pick up, you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and I running back six didn't take it fast. biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial. The Martin Houston Show can also be viewed live on Facebook at Martin Houston Live, Tide 109, and YouTube Live, as well as Twitter at Martin Houston 35. All of those get you into the program and into the conversation. You can chat us up by sending your thoughts via those various outlets, or you can interact with us the tried, true, and tested way of interacting via the phone at 205-342-9904. The Taco Casa hotline is open for business. I want to invite you to get in on the conversation. Before we get the conversation started, I want to remind you that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Good morning, Joe. How you doing, sir?
All doing great today, Martin. Happy to be here on a lovely Tuesday. Recovered from last night's awful Bears performance, so ready to turn the page and get into some bowl talk. We're what are we now, like 10 days away from the Cotton Bowl, so it's time to get it wrapped up and focus on Cincinnati.
Yeah, sorry about your Bears.
Oh man, Martin, that's just who they are.
Did they give up too much when they in the Khalil Mack trade?
Oh, no. That Khalil Mack trade is long been settled. There's just the team is undisciplined. The team's poorly coached, and you see it week in and week out.
So yeah, so that they the problem for the next guy, I don't know if they're going to get rid of this guy or not, but they don't have a first round pick. I don't think in the next draft either. So that'll make it harder. But they as you said, sometimes it's not even whether you need more players, it's whether you got the right players.
That's what it is. They got plenty of talent. They can beat any team if they line up and play well, but they never do. They always fail when it comes time to make a winning play.
Well, and a lot of people don't realize just how important the character piece of it is, Joe. I think people underestimate what Saban goes through, what he implements, and what all his process entails. But we've kind of gotten spoiled because it's been a while since we've had some off the field issues or major issues. You always have things going on when you have 100 plus 18 to 23-year-olds. They're going to be doing some things, but Nick Saban does a great job of keeping these guys in line. And it's not a new audio clip, but I ran across it again, and I want to play it because to me, I think it's going to play huge dividends, not just in their attitude, but these next few days, Joe, could be where Alabama wins and loses the game, and they're not even practicing, right? They're getting ready to go home for Christmas. And with this, Omicron variant out there and the contagious nature of it, even though it's not necessarily been proven to be as severe, it still has proven to be very contagious. In that discipline that you talked about, Nick Saban is counting on that when he's sending these guys home. Um, I want to play a clip, and then we'll come back and talk about some of the protocol, some of the things he says in this clip, and how important it is in terms of Alabama at least taking the next step toward defending their national title. Here's Coach Nick Saban talking about don't give them a reason to have a but or to say your name followed by but.
What I tell players is you don't realize that as soon as you apply for a job, as soon as you put your name in for the draft, people are looking for reasons not to pick you. They're looking for reasons not to hire you. So don't give anybody a reason to say but. It's the only way that you can create value for yourself. So that and but what came after that had nothing to do with what the player was, but it had a significant impact on where the player got picked. So this is an analogy that I use all the time with players to try to get them to understand how do I create value for myself and my future for what I want to accomplish. And it goes right back to, I might have to edit my behavior a little bit. When Kobe Bryant came here and spent a day with us, that's all he talked about is how do I have to edit my behavior to accomplish the goals that I have. One of the players on our team asked him, said, how did you score 60 in the last game that you played in the NBA, which was the last game of the season, and you were 40 years old, and you just came off of an Achilles tendon? He said, I knew I was going to have to work my tail off to be able to make it through that season, and I wanted to play one more year. So I worked 8 hours a day for 365 days out of the year. He said, then I'll put that part on ESPN. So how do you have to edit your behavior to accomplish the goals that you have? That all goes back to that.
Joe, that is that is so good, and I know it may seem that doesn't tie in to where Alabama is. Alabama clearly the most talented team going into the semifinals of the college football playoffs. And I was thinking, Alabama loses if, or Cincy wins if. And I've watched games get postponed and players be out. Even though Chicago played bad, they were also missing what last night? 4?
Lots of players.
Lots of players, and all 4 of their starting defensive backs were out. And Coach Saban understands this, and you just wonder, did he make sure that video got back out there again? Because I've heard him say that before and talk about that before. But that edit your behavior is so critical for this Alabama Crimson Tide team, Joe, as they wrapped up practice and they're going to be getting a few days to go home and then reporting back out to Dallas on the 26th. Man, this game could be won and lost, and them editing their behavior between now and coming back. But I don't know if you saw where Coach Saban put the team back in full protocol, COVID protocol that they had over a year ago. that allowed them to run through college football with very little impact of COVID. Um, and they don't just depend on the kids, but he starts with the kids and tell them to edit their behavior. I think 90% of this team agree or disagree from your personal standpoint. They've been vaccinated, and now 90% approximately has the booster. But he didn't leave it there, Joe. He didn't leave it with asking. He said, we educate the families. We give them a care package with everything they need to stay safe. And we have implemented all the protocols here since we've been back that we had last year. Teams wearing masks in meetings, washing hands, social distancing meeting. We're encouraging players to do that when they leave here. Alabama is a 13.5-point favorite over the Bearcats. But Joe, this game gets dicey. It can get dicey really quick if you have the wrong thing happen and there's an outbreak amongst your team. So the players'
Mark,
ability.
this is what I don't understand what's going on lately, the last couple, maybe 2 weeks in sports, 3 weeks in sports. You look at English Premier League, the soccer, the big soccer league in England. You look at the NFL, you look at the NBA, and even the NHL is taking a couple of days off to reset. And you think about Alabama last year in 2020, yeah, we had guys pop up with cases here and there, but a full-blown outbreak never really occurred on campus. I just don't understand. Did Alabama or is Alabama taking such high precautions that they're able to mitigate the spread of the virus, or is something else going on? Is it the protocol that Nick Saban and Alabama is putting in highly effective for the program that other programs probably need to adopt it, or do you think something else is going on here?
That's a great question, Joe, and I'm not sure. I will say that I know that last year Nick Saban had the same success, so I would say that without a doubt that part of what is going on is just him and getting his team to buy in, okay, and edit their behavior. Joe, without a doubt, one of the biggest things in our culture, in our country, and that's we're free, right? And we pride ourselves in our freedoms, and we don't like to be told to do things, and especially when we don't necessarily fully understand them, or they're inconsistent, or we don't agree with them outright, regardless of how you get there. Um, and that happens in locker rooms and everywhere else. And Nick Saban has managed, to get everybody to buy into what he's asking. And those who haven't, I think Jaleel Billings was one of those who didn't really buy into the process. And look at what happened to his season. He still has a chance to end with be a big contributor, but I think his lack of editing his behavior and buying in cost him. But most of the guys are bought in. As far as some of the way they track things, I think some of that does have to do with it. I don't know if you've seen Nate Oates spoke about it, but what's his name? South Carolina, Frank, South Carolina basketball coach. I know his first name Frank, but he was very, very upset with the way they're implementing and measuring. It's as if nobody's vaccinated. It's the same. They're using the same measurements, and I think the NFL and several of them went back to that same process. So, but you're right. It kind of makes you go, why is this not happening here versus here? And why are we not seeing all these breakouts from these football events and this events, but we're seeing it amongst the teams, and so we'll keep our eyes on it. I just know, Joe, that for you and I as Bama fans, Curtis Lewis said we're not clearly the more talented team in the trenches at running back. I would say we may not have as much depth, but I'm not taking Jerome Ford over Brian Robinson because Jerome Ford had a great season at Cincy. There was a reason Jerome Ford left the Crimson Tide. And it may be because it was a better fit, or maybe because he didn't feel like he could break in, or it may be because, he was the third or fourth best guy. So we'll keep that conversation going. But overall, Alabama is clearly the most talented team. And the thing that would make it an equalized game and hurt that 13.5 point line would be if the Alabama Crimson Tide got into some type of COVID outbreak or something over these next few days when they do not, as Kobe Bryant called it, edit their behavior. So that's the reason I was pointing that out. That's one of the ways that Cincy makes this game interesting next week, is if Alabama is not able to keep things going. We'll talk about other aspects of this game. We'll talk about transfers. We'll talk about recruiting, and we'll do all of that with DC Capstone Report coming up next.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we've had some light rain overnight. Some roadways are wet. Just slow down and be careful. We've also been watching a wreck up on US 43, about a mile north of Samantha, so please use caution. Townsend Nissan wishes you and yours a very Merry Christmas and a wonderful holiday season. Go see them. I'm Captain Ray.
Shop 50 to 70% off almost everything at Gap Factory and GapFactory.com. Plus, deals on stocking stuffers and cozy adders. Save through December 25th at Gap Factory and GapFactory.com.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
With the new law, more people qualify for financial assistance at healthcare.gov. Real customers like Taylor.
You know, I wish people knew how easy it was to get health coverage. This new law has made it so affordable. I'm only paying $52 a month, but there are quality plans for even less.
New law, lower prices, more people qualify. Enroll by January 15th at healthcare.gov.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. In a collision, easy decision. One name, one firm, one call. Mezrano.
I made that one call to Mezrano after being hit by an 18-wheeler. He got me $875,000.
I made that one call to Mezrano after being T-boned on McFarland. He got me $125,000.
I made that one call to Mezrano after my fender bender. He got me $50,000.
One call, one firm. Mezrano. No representations with the call of legal services to be performed. Case where the call of legal services performed by other lawyers.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish
is pretty bad. So we're using Babbel.
Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said now we speak Spanish.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather. Another cold and cloudy day today with some scattered light rain, the high 47. For tonight, gradual clearing with the low at 36. And for tomorrow and Thursday, mostly sunny both days with a warming trend. The high tomorrow 56, the high Thursday 63. I'm James Spann of the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 46 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Sophomart Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at sophmartdesign.com. Hello, I'm Martin Houston, and while I get really excited about football season, I love the holiday season even more. Merry Christmas from the Tide 109 family and the Martin Houston Show. Roll Tide. Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. It's Tuesday morning, December 21st, and we're bringing in DC Capstone Report. Good morning, DC. How you doing, sir?
Oh, doing great, Martin. How are you this morning?
Doing well. We got a couple callers waiting, but I want to quickly bring you up on what we talked about in that first segment, talking a little bit about Nick Saban. We listened to an old audio clip of his where he was talking about editing your behavior, doing what it takes to get the things you want to get out of life, pretty much. But in this scenario, we're applying that to the fact that the team's going to be going home over the next few days. And with this Omicron variant out there, it's going to be mission critical for this team to edit their behavior. Their buddies are going to want to talk to them. Their friends, everybody's going to want to see them. I mean, they just won SEC championship. They hadn't been home in a while. Blah blah blah. All of those things, and Nick Saban making sure that they edit their behavior, because if anything can derail this team, it would be some type of outbreak from COVID that spreads throughout the team.
Yeah, most definitely, Martin. That's a very good point. You know, if anything can knock this team off its center, would be to have some kind of COVID outbreak, because of the just see what's going on around the leagues, the professional leagues now. And you would think that professional leagues would have those type of protocols in place, especially if it's a job where they really have to make a living doing that. But it seems like Alabama, you know, when we say the words "trust the process," we think it's a slogan, but it's actually a way of life at the University of Alabama. And I believe if anything showed us that last year we were able to navigate through the 2020 season and just being able to go into that championship game without even having the COVID season, without many being affected at Alabama. And we saw Ohio State last year. You know, they had some issues when they went off for their Christmas break, coming back with the COVID outbreak among their linemen and different things. So, you know, it can happen to any team, but Alabama has the protocols in place to if the players buy in, and that's what it's what it takes. Players have to buy in to the old Kobe. I think it was Kobe Bryant that said, you know, you have to edit your behavior. He got where he did because he didn't do what everybody else did. He edited his behavior. And I think that's exactly what Coach Saban has been preaching to the team this week.
Yep, and I love it that he didn't just leave it up to them. He actually said they send care packages home to the families to educate the families as well on what's going to be required of the players. We got Alan waiting. Alan, you're in with the Martin Houston Show, and we have DC Capstone Report. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning, gentlemen. How y'all doing today?
Doing good, Alan. Yeah.
I like today.
I just have two questions. The kid from Gordo, he didn't go to Oregon. He went to South Carolina.
Correct.
And I'm wondering he's going to with Spencer Rattler. What's going to happen with that situation, y'all think? And why didn't he go to Miami? And my other question is, well, I've got the other question now.
You can hold on to let's address that one, and maybe to come back to you while we're talking. First of all, congratulations to Tanner Bailey from Gordo landing somewhere. And I think that South Carolina could be a good place for him. I think Spencer Rattler, is a third-year guy, so there'll be enough separation, Allen, between the two that he will not that he will not be able to. I mean, that he'll be able to go there and play. And I also wonder, did he know that Bo Nix was going to Oregon? You know, Tanner Bailey's family are Auburn legacy people. And Bo Nix, when he went into the transfer portal, went in and he was tagged "Do Not Contact," which generally means that the players know where they're going, which I don't know how that works since you're not supposed to tamper. So I don't know how he would go into the portal and be a no contact, unless he reached out to Oregon afterwards. But it makes you wonder. Like I said, Tanner Bailey was an Oregon commit. His family is an Auburn legacy, and he didn't. And he decommitted at the moment Cristobal left, but who knows?
Yeah, I think that's a correct answer, Martin. I think you look in there is, I believe he had some insider information about Bo Nix going to Oregon. I think also South Carolina's a good landing spot for him. He gets to sit and learn a little bit. Maybe increase his physical skills to get to a point where he can compete there in South Carolina.
And my other question would be, what's our chance of getting that guy from LSU, the wide receiver?
Yeah, you talking about Butte?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess as good as any. He's not in the portal right now, so we have to be careful that Alabama isn't tampering. I guess Alabama fans could start following and telling him, "Hey, Jameson is. You saw what it did for Jameson Williams. Why don't you come follow suit? That number 1 jersey may be available come come next fall." So I mean. I say if he goes into the portal, we have a good as chance as any. But he's not in the portal yet.
Yeah, I agree. He's not in the portal yet, and that's why you've not had much. A lot of things have started been rumors, but there's been rumors that he's created about some of his actions of liking Alabama things on his social media accounts and making statements about Alabama. And I think that it's proven. The proof's in the pudding, so to speak. Who wouldn't want to come to Alabama as a wide receiver and have Bryce Young go to you and see what James Williams has done? You can do the same thing. Powerhouse in the SEC West, it would be a step up for him. And so I think that Alabama has the greatest shot of anybody. If he goes in the portal, I think we'll be on him very, very quickly, and you might see a quick decision.
Now, and Allen, I wouldn't be surprised if Bryce Young them aren't recruiting him. Now, the coaches can't contact him, but if they're reaching out to each other and if he's liking Bryce Young's Heisman tweets and all of those things in the public, I'm sure there's some DMs going back and forth. So, and now with Eli Ricks committed, if the young man goes in the portal, I would not be surprised at all if he ends up in Tuscaloosa.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Y'all have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday.
All right. Merry Christmas to you as well. Hey, Tom, I want to make sure I give you always have some good questions. So I'm going to go ahead and get to break a couple minutes early and give you plenty of time on the other side. You listen to the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial. The Martin Houston Show is brought to you on this outlet as well as all of our other social media platforms. Thanks to the great folks over at Alabama One. Alabama1.org is where you can find all the great information about what they have to offer. Got a great promotion going on right now with our land and ag, but we'll also be rolling out new promotions to better serve you. In the meantime, come check out our always great low rates, whether it's auto or home or auto or home rates, as well as check out our other services, great credit cards, financial wellness at no charge, wealth advisory, insurance, and so much more. That's Alabama One together.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we've had some light rain overnight. The roadways are wet. Just slow down and be careful. We've also been watching a wreck up on US 43 about a mile north of Samantha, so please use caution. Townsend Nissan wishes you and yours a very Merry Christmas and a wonderful holiday season. Go see them. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard, right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
Hey, Pete, how's business? It's great. Foot traffic's still way down, but more people are finding me online. Nice. How'd you pull that off? Well, the first thing I did was go to mylocalcustomers.com to see exactly how many searches there were for businesses like mine. So I guess there were a lot? Yeah, there were hundreds of local searches every month. So after I saw that, they helped me position my business online to get in front of those customers. That's awesome. I wonder how many people are searching for my services around here. Well, it's quick and easy to get the answer, plus it's free. Just go to mylocalcustomers.com to find out. If there are a lot of searches, you should definitely get in front of them. If there aren't, no harm, no foul.
Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free local customer analysis that will show you how many customers are searching online for your type of business. It's quick, easy, and free. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
You hear a lot today about the Bama factor. Well, what exactly is it? It's a saying that Coach Saban uses constantly. It's actually what the program is built on: commitment, discipline, effort, toughness, and pride. Well, at Dex Imaging, we believe in these same principles to be the very best we can be day in and day out. So for all of your business office solutions, put Dex Imaging to work for you. Dex Imaging, the official copier and printer provider of Alabama Athletics.
Nick Saban calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our pep talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com. That's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. Let's keep things rolling. This morning, we were going to break there. We were talking about Alan asking us about whether or not we thought there was a chance that we would have Boutte, the LSU wide receiver, rumored to be coming to the Tide, but not actually in the portal. Curtis Lewis said, "We have no need for that receiver unless we're losing several receivers to the portal, which is likely." Different thoughts and opinions there. We got Mechie, Williams, Holden, Leary, Jones-Bell, Bolden, Hall, and Brooks, plus the couple guys we signed this year. I think Nick Saban has shown that he'd rather have a proven commodity versus a five-star. So if Boutte is interested, Bama's taking Boutte. And I don't know if it's necessarily a need, but it would definitely be a rich getting richer scenario, and we'd find a place for him, I'm sure. DC, we're back. We have Tom, who's been patiently holding. Tom, you're in with the Martin Houston Show and DC Capstone Report. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, Mark. Good morning, DC. How are y'all this morning?
Doing well.
Boutte, if he'll come to Alabama, we can cut 3 wide receivers to take him. He's the best wide receiver in the SEC.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right now.
Oh, wow.
Right now. And I love Jameson, but in my opinion, Boutte is the best receiver in the SEC. And to me, it's not close. But anyway, I called about, I wanted to ask y'all about defense. You know, a lot of people make a lot to do about the progression of offense under Coach Saban. You know, he recognized this, he recognized that, said he had to change this, that, and the other. And it's probably a lot of truth to it. You know, everybody says, oh, Lane Kiffin, that's the reason we don't. Well, no, you know, Lane may have been one of the pieces. But, you know, there were others that contributed. Mike Loxley contributed. Dayball, and of course Clark did, and all of these guys contributed. But you know, the main thing I think that we've gone through here, I want to get y'all's take on this. I believe you're watching the same thing happen on the defensive side of the ball, and you know, this team has been so interesting to me this year because you know we would play. Everybody points to the way we played against Ole Miss and Mississippi State and all that. And that's good. We did. We played good games, but there were other games, you know, it looked like we were kind of lost on defense, this, that, and the other. But do y'all think that we're witnessing, and maybe it hadn't been brought out in a public way, a different type of approach to defense and kind of paralleling the offense as the offense has changed? Maybe the defensive coaches have learned that, you know what, we got to change too. And I think that's why Pete Golden is looked on with such respect by Coach Saban, because he's implementing something that is a progression in growth on that side of the ball. Do y'all believe that?
DC?
I definitely do, Tom. I think the defense is growing. I think the defense is changing, evolving. I think that you don't have to look any further than the type of recruit that he's recruiting for the defensive interior lineman. He's trying his best to adapt to the times of the fast-paced offensive and keeping pace with that. I think he's also experimented with some coverages, and I think we've seen him. When we've done those experiments, we've had some bust that looked bad, but when they work really well. When like that robber defense that he used in games here recently. So I think we definitely see that. I think we definitely see that, and I think you can see. I think lining up against Georgia in the championship game, we saw a different contrast in the defensive philosophy. You know, Kirby Smart sticking with his, and Nick Saban's evolved, and I think that we showed a much better defense in that game than Georgia's, even though Georgia was the touted best defense in the country at that time.
And I'm probably going to disagree with you guys a little bit in this sense. I think Nick Saban made the initial transition long before Pete got here in terms of beginning to recruit, and he's still recruiting to those smaller guys. I think that happened. We hadn't had a Mount Cody in a while because he moved away from that. But I think what wins on Nick Saban's defense still wins on Nick Saban's defense. And I think that's great inside linebacker play, which if you go back and look, we lost out N'Kobe Dean and a couple other linebackers. Toa Toa went to Tennessee. So there was a while there where we lost. Go back and look at Nick Saban's great defenses, regardless of which one it was, whether it was the power pound you, make you quit, or the guys who were able to cover sideline to sideline in the Reuben Fosters of the world. Nick Saban, to me, that's still his Achilles heel. He refuses. He may have some different coverages in terms of the defensive backs, like he did throw the robber in there, but his technique still is what causes us our guys get beat often when they're in perfect position because of the way he teaches them to cover. And they don't turn around, Tom, and that's still technique that he has refused to change, in my opinion. And when he was doing that type of coverage didn't hurt you in college because college didn't have precision passers. Okay, there were no guys throwing dimes the way Tua Tagovailoa played, and no guys throwing dimes the way Bryce Young does. When that technique worked, if we don't get better on the back end with our DBs, it's going to cost us when we run into an elite quarterback, not that can use their feet, but they can be Bryce Young. And so that's my thoughts. I mean, I think he's evolved, but I think he evolved a while ago. I still think his technique he still holds on to.
I disagree with you on this point right here. And I think y'all will agree. I'm going to get off after this. But anybody we play, and I'll use South Carolina as an example, they can go out to the gutter and get a wino and bring them in and put them at quarterback. And they'll make back shoulder throws you never thought a wino could make. And they'll do it all night long against Alabama. It don't matter who the quarterback is. They can throw such 10-point passes against us, and our guys are on top of them with great coverage. But it don't matter who the opposing team gets, the quarterback. Look at A&M. That kid hadn't thrown a completion that we got the
But Tom, that's my point.
And he lit us up.
Tom, that's my point. If we run into a talented team that has a Bryce Young, we will get exposed, is what I'm trying to say. That kid from Texas A&M did exactly what I'm saying, that our Saban's technique on the way the DBs cover, it is tight press coverage. Now, what I think Pete Golden has done, and I will agree with you on this, is he has convinced him to run a little bit more zone, like we ran against Mississippi State. He has convinced him to add robber, and that's what DC was saying. So as far as the coverages and all of that, yes, but his technique on how to play press man coverage has never changed. And now it's a liability, in my opinion, if we play against a talented team that also has a talented quarterback. That kid from A&M, as you said, when he was on, look how it made our defensive backs look.
Lucky that Johnny Manziel, luckiest day of his life. The kid was A&M this year, luckiest day of his life. Ole Miss, long time ago, luckiest day of that kid's life, bouncing balls off a helmet and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you have to be so lucky to beat Alabama from quarterback, and it's happened. But I see what you're saying. I agree. I'd rather see us play a Brother Oliver type defense where you lay off and then break on the ball. So I'm convinced to get more interceptions that way.
I think you have a combination. I think that Pete Golding is showing that. But anyway, thanks, Tom, for your comments. Great comment, great view. DC, I'll let you give your rebuttal or closing thoughts on that before we get to break.
Well, I think I hear what you're saying. You and I don't disagree very often, but I disagree with you in this point. I don't think the technique is the problem. I don't think the teaching is the problem. I think that the problem is the technique is so involved. The technique is so technical that it has to be done almost 100% correct every time. Even if you look like you got great coverage, if you're not doing 100%.
Right. That's what. No, we're agreeing with that. I'm saying that
on technique. If you look at Trayvon Diggs, he transitioned into NFL perfectly playing that technique, and he'll tell you in every interview he didn't learn that technique at Dallas. He learned it at Alabama from Coach Saban. If you look at Patrick Surtain, he says the same thing. It just takes longer to develop. And what we've had is we don't have that 4-year guy that stuck with us in the quarterback to be able to have that technique down pat. So,
but DC, but we're not disagreeing. I'm saying he has not changed that technique. When we were saying he evolved, I'm saying he hasn't changed that technique.
He hasn't changed it. It's still a good technique. He just hasn't changed it to fit the personnel. Is what you're saying?
Well, I'm saying he hasn't changed it, but the quarterback accuracy is getting better. The quarterback play. These kids coming into college, there were no Bryce Youngs. You would have one guy every so often that was accurate. You know, when Saban came to Alabama, or a guy would have an unbelievable day. But now these guys are coming out of high school with, 5 years of playing 50,000 7-on-7s. And so what I'm saying is the technique works. The technique, it absolutely does if you have time to spend 8 hours a day, multiple drills, and that's your job. But it is extremely hard for college kids in 2 to 3 years to get really good at it. So yeah, it works. I'm just saying that the offensive side of the game has changed, DC, while he has not. The conversation was that we've evolved, and I was just pointing out the one part of his defense that he has not evolved or changed is the way the defensive backs play the press coverage, and that cost us when we run into really accurate quarterback. Fortunately, it hasn't happened a lot.
Yeah, I agree with that. We do agree on that.
All right. Hey, we'll go to break here. I think we got Bishop Holding coming back on the other side. We'll put the finishing touches on this edition of the Martin Houston Show.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we've had some light rain overnight. Some roadways are wet. Just slow down and be careful. We've also been watching a wreck up on US 43 about a mile north of Samantha, so please use caution. Townsend Nissan wishes you and yours a very Merry Christmas and a wonderful holiday season. Go see them. I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Tuesday morning. New voting districts from the federal to the state and local levels are being redrawn based on the 2020 U.S. Census. Local activist groups are demanding transparency and collaboration as the city of Tuscaloosa redraws council and school board district lines. They claim the majority of Tuscaloosa's population is non-white, and some want 4 districts reflecting that figure. However, U.S. Census Online data reveals 51% of the city's population remains white. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. If you're looking for a way to add value to your home, make your flower beds pop, make your landscaping stand out from your neighbors, then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help you do just that. They have numerous styles, but they feature the Moroccan Stone Curb series, which includes 4 great styles and unlimited color choices. That's Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. They are the one that can help you stand out from your neighbors. Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, 205-331-6823. You may also find yourself with the need for a custom size stone or custom shaped stone. Then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help with that as well. Paul Fuller and his team are waiting on your call right now for that free quote. And if you tell them that Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show told you to stop by, you'll get a big discount. So call Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing at 205-331-6823 or visit them online at Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing LLC.
Because there's no such thing as too much sparkle at Christmas. At Fincher Endorsement, diamond stud earrings start at $0.25 and go all the way up to stop you in your tracks, 2 carat. And if you don't know what to get her, this is what to get her. And Tom can help you out. Fincher and Osmond for Christmas. Hard, but not impossible to find. On McFarland Boulevard between Edgar's and local Roots. And always online at fincherandosmond.com.
You may be into punk rock, soft rock, or classic rock, R&B, hip-hop, or house, country, techno, or techno-country. But no matter what kind of music you listen to, here's something else you should hear. Please consider getting vaccinated. Talk to your pharmacist today about Comirnaty, COVID-19 vaccine mRNA. This message brought to you by BioNTech and Pfizer.
Man the Boogman here, inviting you to check out Irvin's new fall arrivals from Wrangler, Ariat, Carhartt & Co. You'll find locally owned, friendly service, low prices, and one of the best selections around. Irvin's also has a great selection of boots for men, women, and children, along with a nice selection of drastically marked down boots and shoes for men and women. I do want to let all of our Irvin's loyal customers know that we're currently experiencing delayed shipments on boots
boots, bottoms, and shirts. So shop now for the best selection. As always, thank you for your support, and remember to tell them Van the Boot Man sent you.
Hello, I'm Martin Houston, and I'm so excited about this time of the year because it represents not just football, but the season of the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. On behalf of Harvest Church and the Martin Houston Show, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and invite you to join Harvest Church on Sundays at 10 a.m. and Wednesdays at 6 p.m., where we're creating and enabling faithful followers of Christ. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the Martin Houston Show and Harvest Church.
All right, Margie, how's it finished up right now?
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show, DC. Before we get into it, I know that this is a special time of year for you, so I'll let you tell us real quick where they can find you, but then also just so we don't miss it at the end, let you speak quickly to our audience about this season.
Yeah, this is. You can find me at dccapstonereport.com, DC Capstone Report Facebook page, or you can follow me on Twitter at davidcott50. Check out Lance's other sites, rolltimebama.com and freelancepictures.com for some great Alabama content. You're right, Martin. This is my favorite time of the year. I love Christmas. My thought is that there is no Christmas without Christ, and Jesus has made a difference in my life, and I always love to celebrate the gift that we were given in the birth of Jesus. There's no greater time to tell others about Jesus than Christmas. So I wish everyone, all of your listeners, a Merry Christmas, and I appreciate you, Martin, giving me the opportunity to come on each and every Tuesday morning and share with you and your listeners. To me, this has become a little family, and I really appreciate it, and Merry Christmas to everyone.
All right, Merry Christmas back to you, DC, to you and yours. Bishop, you're in with DC Capstone Report on the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
And I would just like to say to you, Bishop Houston, and to Mr. DC, Merry Christ Mass.
Awesome.
Yes, sir. I called a comment because I heard you talking. Eli Ricks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've been watching him.
Yes.
He turns around and looks for the ball. And he is aggressive. When the ball is in the air, he's as a receiver. He feels like the ball is his. He's always in position. So whatever Coach Saban is saying, I hope he don't take that out of him. Yeah. Have you noticed it, Martin?
Yeah. That's the part that Nick Saban doesn't really teach, that turnaround, and he teaches rip through the ball, stay in phase with them in right spot. And when that receiver hand goes up, it doesn't matter where the ball is. Wherever his hands go, that's where the ball's going, and you rip through it. So it'll be interesting to watch and see how that transitions.
I'm telling you, I've been watching Eli Ricks, and he turns. I'm calling for Baton Rouge, and I told my boss, who is an LSU alumni, that LSU has become a feeder program for us.
Hey, are you hearing anything about the wide receiver Boutte?
I'm hearing something about Boutte, but what about, they ought to consider Trey Palmer. Trey Palmer is in the transfer pool too. He's another receiver, but he's also a kickoff return and punt return specialist.
Oh wow! So
and he's a speedster. I think he's a trackster. So I think he runs like 100 meters.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So I think that would be interesting too.
That's awesome.
I just wanted to comment, and another question I want to ask you: what's the status of Roydell Williams?
He's through for the year. He had a ligament damage, so he would not be back. Him and Metchie are both out. So someone will have to step up. Trey Sanders, I'm hoping he's building confidence during this break, and then Holden and Brooks both seem to have stepped in well against Georgia, and so I would expect that to continue, and maybe Jones Bell or Hall will also step up during this time.
Okay, all righty. What is your opinion of Eli Ricks and his coverage style?
DC, I'll let you. I like it. I'll let DC comment.
I think you're right on point, Bishop. I think his style is like I call it aggressive. Aggressive in your face play, and he's a ball hawk. I think he goes to the ball and looks for to take the ball away. I love the way you describe it. He feels like the ball's in the air. He has every opportunity to get it, as the receiver does. So I love that kind of style play.
Okay. All right. Okay, John. Thank you, and again, Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Merry Christmas to you as well, Bishop. All right, Bishop from Baton Rouge. We getting the inside scoop on the Martin Houston Show early on Tuesday morning, DC. DC, real quick. I know you'd have my head if I don't give you a chance to talk about finish the show up talking about this basketball team. Tight, close game against Jacksonville. One last game against Davidson before SEC play. What are your thoughts on where Bama is? And even though they struggled, does that help them?
Well, if we beat Davidson, which I think we will, we're going to be starting the SEC season in the top 10, possibly the highest-ranked SEC team going into the SEC season. I think we're positioned well. I think it's really good. We have a good opportunity to go in and have a good run in the SEC this year based on the off-season schedule that we've had. I'm very pleased with it.
Yeah, DC, real quick, what's the two takeaways that this team has to get better at before as we go into SEC play?
Well, three things: rebounding, and rebounding. So we got to better. We got to do free throws better, and I've got to stop the turnovers. That's what we have to do.
Yeah, and I would throw our pick and roll defense. I think Memphis showed a little bit there. Memphis showed we got to be better with the turnovers because teams are now jumping that passing lane when we drive and kick. So, DC, wishing you and yours Merry Christmas. To you and yours, and we'll be back next week, and it'll be game week.
That's right, it'll be game week. Can't wait for it, Martin. Merry Christmas to you and yours, and remember, like I always say, there is no Christmas without Christ.
All right, awesome. That's DC Capstone Report. Follow him at DavidCott50 on Twitter. Remember, DCCapstoneReport.com. I'm Martin Houston. That's DC. Thanks to all the callers, chatters, listeners, and followers for being a part of the program. That's Joe behind the glass pressing all the right buttons. And remember this, trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on.
Thanks, Martin. Have a great day.
You too, Joe.